Move your career further, faster in just 2 days with a Harvard Professional and Executive Development Program. Advance your leadership skills, craft smarter business strategies, build your network, and transform how you work and think to keep your career moving forward. You'll earn a certificate and can add Harvard to your resume with Harvard Professional and Executive Development. Learn more at professional.dce.harvard.edu/Spotify.
What up, y'all? It's Joe Budden, here to talk about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money while watching football. You can get up to 100 times your money.
Prize Picks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Just download the Prize Picks app and use code SPOTIFY. That's code SPOTIFY on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Welcome to Book Talk for Book Talk, a literary podcast where we have been deep diving into your favorite novels.
This is Jack.
And I'm Amy.
This summer, we are talking to some of our and TikTok's favorite authors. In our Summer of Love series, we'll be chatting with best-selling authors about their books, characters, and more. Explicit language, as well as themes of sex, violence, abuse, death, and depression will recur throughout this podcast. Listener discretion is advised. Number 1 New York Times bestselling author Tessa Bailey can solve all problems except her own. So she focuses those efforts on stubborn, fictional, blue-collar men and loyal, lovable heroines. Dubbed the Michelangelo of dirty talk by Entertainment Weekly, Tessa writes with spice, spirit, swoon, and a guaranteed happily ever after. Welcome, Tessa.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I love spirit, spice, and swoon. I live to embody that.
Yeah, is that
You
a shirt?
embody it.
If that's not a shirt, that
It
needs
should
to be
be a shirt.
your merch.
You guys have spirit. I'm going to just say it right off the bat. I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Oh, great.
Oh my God.
Thanks.
I mean, I'll work on spice and swoon. We've got some time. I think I can get you there.
You guys have spirit, spice, and swoon.
Yes, thank
100%.
you.
It's very kind of you.
I am obsessed with your books. When I get really happy or excited and overwhelmed, I throw things. Amy knows I throw things at her a lot.
She throws many things.
I have to, I throw a lot when I'm reading your books. I'll just start throwing pillows of just pure excitement and joy whenever. So I have to make sure I have a pile of things to throw. And I've been throwing them at my roommate lately, so she knows.
I love that. I think that it's so cool to have a visceral reaction, because I think we watch TV or we read or we just listen to podcasts or talk to friends, and I feel like so much of my reactions are just internalized.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If something actually makes you act up, that's such a, I don't know, that's that's a nice compliment.
Oh yeah. Do you see this spine? You'll notice, unfortunately yours. Do you see how battered that spine is? This thing has been folded, not broken, but the aggression, the cute aggression that I had with it.
I felt that way while I was writing it. So that's what came through. I don't know. There was something about August Cates that really I don't know. He was sometimes you just start writing a book and you don't really anticipate what it's going to feel like. And then the characters get on the page together and you just know, you just have a feeling this is one of the special ones. They're all special, but some of them just feel a little bit more magical than the others. Yeah. And unfortunately yours was one of those.
August is so I'm getting cute aggression all over again. It's Amy, go into your question before I start throwing my microphone.
Sure.
I love August.
Tessa, why don't you tell us about yourself and how or when you got into writing? Did you always know you wanted to be a romance author?
No, I mean, so I started reading romance when I was 14. I accidentally picked up a Sandra Brown book out of my grandmother's luggage at like a family reunion in Maine. It was the most boring family reunion like ever, first and last one we ever did. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I feel like the only books I'd read up until that point were like Goosebumps.
So you skipped a few stages here.
It just hit me at the perfect time. You know, like I was going through changes. I was like, I think 13 and a half, 14. And I was like, this is unreal. I can't believe this exists. And it just made me feel so happy. And it made me feel almost safe. I don't know, because I just knew instinctively that this was going to work out.
Yeah.
The story was going to work out and I didn't have to worry and I didn't have to be scared. And like, it made me feel so happy and safe. And I don't know, like I read them from the time I was 14 up until now, but I wrote my first book, I want to say at 28. And, I did not think I could ever be a published author. Absolutely not. I'm a college dropout. I have no direction. I was a pothead in high school. Like I really honestly thought this was for like Ivy League graduates and that was it. Like it's not for everybody. And then I just think that's not true. If anything, that's what I've taught myself is that if you have something like that you really want to say inside of you or an emotion you want to express, that anybody can try, you know, anybody can put it on paper. So it was really like kind of luck and it was an opportunity. Like, you know, I just happened to have some time to like try something new. And I kind of I just feel like I got lucky.
That's amazing. I mean, you kind of encompass like what romance is like perfectly, that safety, that knowing that things are going to work out. My grandparents died last year and I went through a big breakup and like then I went on a smut journey and I was like, wait a minute, there's a genre where people are happy at the end. It blew my mind. It was so you summarized that perfectly. Also, you didn't write your first book until you're 28.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think my daughter was born when I was 27 and that's kind of the jolt that I had was I was like, oh my God, I had a baby and I'm a total loser. Like, what am I doing with my life, you know? And so I was like, I got to figure out something to be good at. Like, I got to figure out what I'm good at. And I want her to be proud of me someday. And I want to be able to like have something to show her.
You've written so many books since then.
I know, I haven't stopped.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, you should be proud, and I hope she's proud of you because you've accomplished a lot more than people like Jack and I who've wanted to be writers. And
all right, throw me in there. All right, cool.
I tell everybody who's like kind of a new writer and they feel overwhelmed when they look at like a backlist of someone who's been writing for over a decade, and it's like truly a muscle. Like that you have to work on, you have to flex that muscle constantly. Like I used to be able to write like 300 to 500 words a day. And now I write 3,000 words a day, but that did not happen overnight. That was like a constant, like, like flexing of that muscle until it developed. Like you just have to be patient. I think it's like, we have this expectation that we're going to be an Allie Hazelwood, like we're going to hit it big overnight with one book. And it's just not how it happens. It's like a 1 in a million thing. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think I reached the like quote unquote level that I'm at now until it happened one summer. And that was like my 52nd book or something.
Oh,
so yeah,
wow.
Sometimes it just doesn't happen right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all your books are great. That was also another good book. Oh my God. I mean, whenever I look at your, like all the books you've written, I'm just like, okay, well, my TBR is just, it's just massive. A lot of it also comes from Book Talk, I'd say too. You know, like there's like Book Talk absolutely adores you. And as much as Book Talk adores you, you like to commit psychological torture on Book Talk and to us, the community. And by torture, I mean, you like to stitch videos and come up with an entire book plot and then leave us hanging in the best way possible. It hurts. It really hurts my soul, but I eat it up every time. Has there ever been a TikTok video that's genuinely inspired a book that you've written?
Yeah. Let's see. So Happenstance was my one Why Choose novel that I wrote that I don't really know. I can't really trace it back to a certain video, but I think it was somebody talking about Why Choose and like me thinking in my head, like that would be awful in real life to be in a Why Choose romance because like your house would be disgusting. Like, you know, you never get left alone. Like,
yeah.
And I was like, this would be a funny TikTok. And then people were like, you should literally make this a Why Choose rom-com. And I was like, yeah, okay. Pretty funny. So like, I think that I more get inspired by comments and like people tagging me in things than necessarily like than actual TikTok videos themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, it really doesn't take much. Like there's a TikTok that everybody tagged me in, and it's probably been like 8 months. And it was this girl in San Diego, where I'm from, like stumbling home drunk from the bars and like sitting on a fireman's lap. And he was like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But he was like 15 years older than her. It was like a thing. And everybody was tagging me in it. And I was like, no. Like, I can't do that. And then I'm like, it's sat in the back of my head now for months. And I'm thinking of pitching a firefighter romance. So,
I mean, you did post that video from, I think like where you live, where it was like people throwing water balloons at the firefighters. And then you had like, this is a multi-series, like each woman gets their own firefighter. And then people in the comments were just having a field day.
That video right now currently has 1.4 million views. And so that's when people ask me like why, like what it is that I like so much about Book Talk. And I'm like, I'm crowdsourcing I'm crowdsourcing. Like I know if 1.4 million people have watched this video and I've got 350,000 likes on it and like all these comments, people saying, please write this, that's something. You can't listen to like necessarily like reviews or people's opinions all the time, but you can listen to this kind of a thing. Like this is people telling you, we really like this idea. And I think I would be crazy not to take that information and use it and listen and utilize it. So no, I'm definitely planning on writing that. So my own TikTok inspired.
Well, I have my own. I love that. Give us firefighters. I'm on board. Like, that's what I want. I mean, later on, we're going to talk about hockey, but like,
yes.
I'm so excited. Now it's like, I'm dabbling into the firefighter space.
What I love about that is that, to write a rom-com, you do still have to be comedic. And how do you know what appeals to people's that comedic relief need? And you don't want it to fall flat on its face. And I think that's great. You can crowdsource as much for the comedy as well as the romance on TikTok. And that's just like a great way to look at it.
Absolutely. Like back in the beginning, when I first started doing Book Talk, I was like, well, I'm not going to go on here and try to sell my books because I don't know. Like, I just don't think that people need me to sell. Like, I think if people want to buy a book, they're going to hear about it from their peers. And that's like where they're going to get that information. And I'm like, I just would rather come on here and just be myself and like talk to people and meet people. Yeah, it's made me learn to trust my sense of humor a lot more, which as a rom-com author is invaluable. Like, because I'm not really second guessing myself as much as I used to, because I'm like, well, I kind of feel like people get my sense of humor and they like appreciate it, and it's become like a really nice thing, like to get a boost of confidence from this platform. It's been really, really awesome.
Well, that's how I discovered you last year, was like going on TikTok, and then you kept popping up and I was like, this woman is hilarious. And then all of a sudden, and it wasn't until like I connected, I was like, what? She's the author? And then I got really excited because
so many people do that. That's so funny. So I started like reviewing Turkish. You probably have asked me about this, but I started reviewing this Turkish
Early
soap
Birds.
opera on and so many people have gotten to like 8 videos deep into that series and been like, oh wait, are you Tessa Bailey, the author? Yes. I review Turkish sitcoms now. That's what
I have been living off of those reviews as well, because I don't want to commit to 160 something episodes unless I know that the payoff is going to be worth it.
It's like I could give you I'm going to do a wrap up at the end where I tell people like which chunks of episodes to skip. No, I'm definitely going to do it because I've been through a few waves of it where I'm like, the last 25 episodes were unnecessary. Like we could have just gotten here, like, you know, I'll do a whole wrap up for it.
Yes, please.
So for our next question, you've kind of alluded to this, but I'm curious to see if you have other sources of inspiration. So many readers or listeners know you from It Happened One Summer or Fix Her Up. I personally loved Hook, Line, and Sinker. That was like my cute aggression listening on the way to work in the car. But you also have a large range of romance books and genres. I mean, you said It Happened One Summer was book 52. I can't imagine how many you're at now. How do you decide what comes next in your prolific writing?
It's like, so I know usually what my publisher is looking for because we talk about it, like whether I'm like, okay, like, am I pivoting to like, here's an idea for this. And they'll be like, like it's not really marketable and things like that. And so I will have to like throw a few things at the wall with my publisher before we decide on something. But a lot of my books, like if you look at Getaway Girl, My Killer Vacation, Follow, Happenstance, like those are all self-pubs. And the rule with self-publishing is that I'm not allowed to write something that is similar to what I'm publishing with my publisher.
Oh, okay.
So I have to get creative and I have to be like, okay, well, it's not similar because this one's about true crime.
Yeah.
And this one's about a foursome. And like, so I kind of like find ways to like wormhole, you know, like, or like wiggle room to like do something and have fun with something challenging and not jeopardize like books that I'm publishing with Avon. So
it almost challenges you more in a way where it's like, if you want to write these other books, you're like, all right, I'm going to have to make it as different as possible. Well, watch me go.
Yeah,
like
vampire series. Like, I don't know. I think a lot of people don't know. I wrote a trilogy called the Phenomenal Fate series. And that was just literally because I was like, well, I guess vampires sound different. And love her or lose her. So I wrote vampires. But yeah, I like those in-between books and the self-publishing only because it keeps me active writing first person, which I think I never want to lose that skill because I think I'll probably eventually do more of it.
Yeah.
And it also just stops me from getting bored, you know, like writing rom-com after rom-com. I love them, but I also want to like make sure I'm stretching my legs a little bit and make, you know, not too formulaic, I guess.
Do you kind of make sure all of your self-publish is first person versus publisher is?
Yeah, usually it's all first person when I do self-pub.
Oh.
Yeah, just to like make sure I'm appealing to two different audiences or like maybe people that won't pick up my books because they're in third person and there are a lot of them, you know, are still reading me and still checking me. So yeah, I usually do that.
That's a really interesting way to go about it. And I really actually appreciate that as a traditionally published author. You're like, yeah, I still want to self-publish and do whatever I want, but you do it with purpose, right? You're focusing on, I want to focus on this skill and I want to appeal to this audience that isn't going with my rom-coms because of certain narrative devices. I think that's really, really cool that you have that flexibility too and that versatility, because I think it's not always easy to keep up with that.
Yeah, it can be challenging. But I think that that's what keeps it feeling fresh, you know, like making sure I'm not like writing for my editor all the time. Cause I feel like sometimes that's easy to fall into, like when you're working with one editor at your publisher for a certain like length of time, you start writing to their taste. Cause like, you're like, I don't want to have to fix this later. So
yeah,
this is what she tells me to now. And I think sometimes you should just splat it. You should just like do a passion project and just like not anything but your own id, you know, like that's where that comes from.
Oh, I love that. It's just like, I don't know, it's like every writer's dream in a way where you just writing what you want and going for all of it. And, you know, I like Amy said it, but like you are a prolific writer in the best way possible. And I respect it so much. And you have so many books with so many amazing female characters. And I'm going to use the Bellinger sisters. I've never said their name out loud. I am now nervous about it.
You said it right. You said it
okay.
right.
I get a lot of crap from a lot of people because I never pronounce anything correctly. So on the Bellinger sisters, as an example, they're really distinct. They're their own women who are rich with personality. Where do you find inspiration for these heroines and how do you keep them separate from each other in your mind or during writing? Like, you have so many books, and all the ones that I've read, they're so unique.
I don't know. It's like, I don't really have like a way that I do it. Like, I don't have like a method necessarily. I mean, I write them out. It's so weird. Like, even 2 days ago, I started a new book, and I wrote out like pages and pages on who this heroine was going to be, and like what she was going to be like, and like what her likes and dislikes, and what her past failures and her future aspirations and all these different things. And then I started writing her, and she was not that person.
Okay.
So it's like that every time. And I think it's like something in the back of my head that knows it has to balance the two main characters.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just naturally calibrates them to be like, to complement each other. And I don't have really control of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and I think that maybe, hopefully that's why the dialogue and the relationships come across as more organic,
mm-hmm.
is because I'm not writing types. I'm just trying to write people.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of like, they make themselves into what they are. And it's like, I never know what I'm going to get. And it's kind of cool that way. Like, I started writing this character. Her name is Tallulah. You'll meet her in a book called Fangirl Down in February.
Yes.
And she's like the best friend who's now getting her own book with a professional hockey player. And I was like, okay, she's going to be like this like really fun party girl. And she's going to be like, just kind of like blasé. And she's always going to have a cocktail in her hand. And then I met her, and she was like, so like, almost like incredibly vulnerable on the page, that I was like, what happened to this girl? And I was like, I had to go back and like figure out what's in her backstory. It's so hard to explain, but it's just, I think it's a combination of just like I said, finding the perfect foil for the other character, and also just my brain saying, don't write something you've already written before. Like, you've done this before, and it's like something that's there that I'm not really aware of. So
yeah. I mean, we talk about that, of just letting the character speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it also goes back to probably what you were saying about having a muscle, and having worked that muscle so many times, that natural calibration is because the muscle knows, like, oh, I'm too heavy-handed this way. I need to back up and go this way. So whether it's conscious or not, it sounds like your brain is doing that work because it's been doing that work for so long, and it knows naturally what the patterns are that need to be in place.
That's absolutely right. And another thing, like just going back to what we were talking about before with listening to people on Book Talk, is that like today there was like a sort of a conflict from the outset. And I was like, the natural thing here would be for the heroine to get pissed off and like really just kind of like start an argument. And then she like didn't. And I think it was like part of me going, like, do something unexpected, like have your characters behave in a way that like maybe you would want them to, as opposed to like what you think they're supposed to do here to further the plot.
Yeah.
Interesting. Like the way this like kind of all vibes, no plot. Where I'm like, yeah, what if she just does something that we really respect and appreciate, and the conflict can be external as opposed to just these two people fighting, So anyways, I've learned a lot from listening to people, and sort of like, I think it's just actually gone in and stuck there somewhere in my head, and now I'm just kind of like instituting it here and there.
Yeah. And there's something about the way the society is with social media and with TikTok, where people are putting a lot of like their own stories out there, and just the fact that we're consuming so many different types of personalities, so many different stories, that, it's like, here I am, like, I am fascinated. I'm like, wow, you did it. So many different people, but also, there's billions of people in this world. So tons of personalities to sample from. And, you have so many options and so many videos for inspiration out there. And I do that all the time with my own TikTok. Like, I have like a writing folder, and it doesn't even have to be anything to do with the story. Just like, I like the vibe of this one.
I should start doing that. That's a really good idea.
I'm happy to help inspire.
I mean, you don't just like things and then scroll back 80 videos to see what it is.
Apparently not. Apparently Jack is organized.
I'm very organized. I have my writing inspo, my book talk inspo, my fan fiction, my travel hacks, my places to travel, my London, I have a lot and I use them.
Respect.
Yeah.
I'm not that organized just in life, just in my TikTok life.
So Tessa, this kind of goes back to something we were already talking about, but I'm going to ask it anyway. And what I'm sensing right now is that you've really gone on this journey with your writing. And even though you're really good at writing happy, fun characters, we also discover they often have deep-seated insecurities or mental health issues. And finding that balance can be really difficult. How do you manage the happy, fun romance and the subjects that are also heavy and intense? And is it just an internal thing, or do you plan ahead when it comes to those types of topics?
I think that's really natural for me, that part of my writing, because I handle everything with humor and I have terrible mental health issues. So like, it's like, sometimes it's like almost I'm a character in my own books, because sometimes I don't even really realize what the issue is for such a long period of time. Then I'm like, oh my God, that's what I've been doing all this time, and I feel like my characters are like that a lot, where they're like, they don't discover themselves until they've kind of gone through this, 30 chapter journey, and they're suddenly like, oh my God, I've been self-sabotaging, or I've been pushing people away, or I've, been inflicting, this doubt on people that they didn't deserve. And so I think that's so natural for me, because I'm one of those people who just, it's not just me, so many people have mental health issues that they deal with. They deal with them through humor, or going to their friends and laughing about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm also one of these true crime people that listens to true crime comedy podcasts. And I think that might be another thing that aids that, is we deal with the saddest and the most horrific things in life by, not laughing at those things, but by laughing through them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's just always the way I've dealt with things. So it's really natural to put it in my books.
That's why it's very relatable for so many people, and for the right people. The ones who don't get it, they need not apply. But it's for the ones who get it, it makes sense. And, some of the funniest moments of my life have been in the most devastating moments of my life. You also do such a good job of balancing it, not just with the female characters, but with the male characters. It's never just the woman being like, haha, I'm solved. It's the men just kind of saying holy shit, I have things too. So it's never one-sided, which I really appreciate.
Thanks.
Fall has officially started here in Los Angeles, and that means we finally get to do fall activities.
I have been counting down the days for when I can go to pumpkin patches, maybe even hit up an apple orchard, and I get to do all of it looking super cute in my Quince boyfriend sweater.
This weather is perfect for my dark academia vibes, and I'm so excited to bust out my washable silk blouse, because I'm going to be taking pictures.
Quince is known for their Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50. And that's not all. Quince has so many other amazing things on their website.
All of those items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands.
That includes leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim. My entire fall wardrobe is genuinely turning into Quince wardrobe.
By partnering directly with top factories and cutting out the cost of the middleman, we get savings as the customer.
One of my favorite parts about Quince is the fact that they only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. And they still manage to get premium fabrics and finishes for that, luxury feeling for every item that they have.
Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. That's quince.com/booktalk.
Move your career further, faster in just 2 days with a Harvard Professional and Executive Development Program. Advance your leadership skills, craft smarter business strategies, build your network, and transform how you work and think to keep your career moving forward. You'll earn a certificate and can add Harvard to your resume with Harvard Professional and Executive Development. Learn more at professional.dce.harvard.edu/Spotify.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
And I appreciate that you're putting your own humor into it. I could never be a rom-com writer because I don't have that same sense of humor. I appreciate it in other people. That's why Jack is my friend. She has that sense of humor. I appreciate it in your writing, but I don't have that. And so I would never try to write it because I don't have that bone in my body.
You're funny.
Just in the like subtle, deadly way.
There's like funny authors who I've met in real life, and they're like so funny, and like I'm like, wow, they must write hilarious books. And then I've read their books, and I'm like, this isn't even funny. It shocks me that I'm like, I can see like that it's just something that doesn't always translate to paper. It just because you're funny in real life, it's very different to like write comedically, you know? And I feel like that's, like just another muscle though. Like I don't think I trusted my sense of humor in my in my mid to late 20s, but now I kind of feel like I do more. And so it just it just opens more avenues.
Yeah. The opposite of that are guys who are too funny on dating apps when they text you or like when they're messaging and then you meet them in person. It's like, oh, you had friends help you with that, or you took you thought about that. You are not this funny.
It took a week to write that.
Now I understand why our conversations were never quick.
Yeah, because like getting laid depended on it. That's really what you're
seriously.
Yeah. When men have that at stake, they can do.
I mean, if men were willing to be more celebratory of women's comedy, more men would get laid.
I mean, yeah, or just listened. In general, or just like
be nice.
Be nice. I've been talking about this recently with people, and I'm like I really just think that women or men or whoever, like it doesn't matter. Like you want your person that you're with to like listen to you, listen to what you're saying, and then incorporate that into their behavior.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yes,
yeah. That's it. It's not like we need flowers and horseback, rides on the beach and like all these different things. Like we read romance novels because the love interest actually listens to what the person is saying, and then they act on it in future chapters. They're like, we're going to call this back that you told me 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And I'm going to present it to you, and I'm going to let you know I've been listening. And I swear that's better than the sex. So
every single time that always happens, and it's always a moment of like, oh my God, he did it. Like, he understood.
That's peak romance.
So I think the secret sauce in romance novels is like people who listen. Yeah, like men who listen and men who eat pussy. So
yeah, you can tell who eats and who doesn't eat. You can really tell. Meanwhile, I go on dates where the guys ask me when I'm going to turn off my personality, and it's like that doesn't happen.
Oh,
this is why I date women. Yeah. They listen, they eat pussy.
That was really nice.
The growth your heroines make over the course of the book are subtle yet simultaneously pretty big. But most importantly, it feels like it's never entirely the leading man's doing. Is that something that's important to you? Do you map out the journey ahead of time? I mean, we already talked about you mapping out the journeys or not, but and the fact that it does come naturally to you because you're just talented. Like that's at the core of it. But, it never comes to the man's healing them And it's always like these women who come to their own self-discovery and many times are just saying like, okay, well, if I'm going to make a choice to stay, then it's going to be my choice and I'm going to find a purpose here.
Yeah, 100%. It's weird. I started writing just over 10 years ago, and people would be like, "Oh wow, you write real like feminist romance," and I'd be like, I mean, I don't think that's true, and it's just that it never occurred to me to write any other way.
Yeah.
It's just like that's my brain.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think when somebody else heals you, it's temporary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like a Band-Aid on top of something, and it's got a finite period of time where it's going to work.
Yep.
But when you heal yourself, that's permanent.
Yeah.
And so if we're giving these people happily ever after, and we're like going to assume that they're going to be happy and healthy for 60, 70 years, it has to be an authentic healing process. And you have to really believe that they've changed and that they've overcome whatever obstacles they had or demons they had.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's imperative to me that they heal themselves. Absolutely, 100%.
What does that say about our society, that feminist romance is equivalent to authentic healing?
Yes.
And what does that say about us as a society willing to accept inauthentic healing or lack of permanency in our healing? And that is normal or heteronormative. Like that seems problematic to me. But that's what makes me appreciate your writing, is that these women are going on these journeys and they're having authentic journeys that all of us hope to have our own life experience, to say, hey, I have this problem and I'm going to solve it. And then I'm going to lead a happy, healthy life.
Yeah. And I think it's like, I'm thinking like my daughter's generation, like, it's like they've taken it even a step further where it doesn't even occur to my daughter, who's 11, that a boy should be able to do something that she can't do, or like that she isn't capable of something, or that there should be any differences in like how they're treated. And that's like, I mean, it doesn't even occur to her.
That's the win.
So,
that's huge.
Like I was halfway there, and like her generation is all the way there. And it's like, sometimes I'm like having a conversation with her and I'm like, that's not okay. Like they have to treat, you have to have the same, you have to have the same opportunities. And she'll be like, yeah, I know. But
like, obviously,
no,
God.
No, dumb mom.
It doesn't occur. So it's so cool to see that. I don't even have to have those conversations. Like she was born with that brain, and like that brain is fully, it's just like, I don't know. It's like, she just isn't aware of that aspect of society where like you're told you're different. She's just,
I mean, she had like a pretty great role model. Obviously, I don't know you personally, but I feel like I do out of all the books I read, where I feel like I can confidently say good role model.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. We have like, like our household is, mom's the one that works.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, like doesn't have to be every household. Every household's different, but like that's ours. So yeah. She sees that, and I hope she, I hope it's positive.
Oh yeah, it's huge. Like my mom, like I mentioned earlier, my dad passed when I was 12, and then my mom went back to school and then got her bachelor's and then got her master's, and then seeing all of that, and she's from Chile and she came here when she was younger, so I'm half. That's why I'm so white. But that so I'm seeing all these changes and stuff. It's not the bleach that I put in my hair. It's seeing women improve their life and circumstances that is absolutely like that's what like that's building the foundation of this next generation.
Yeah, 100%. And that's like really kudos to your mom, because that is so hard to do on the other side of grief. Like it really is such a hard thing.
Yeah. I appreciate, getting older, and I'm like, ooh, good job, Maria. Yeah. You did it.
Yeah. Good for you, Maria.
Well, having been Jacqueline's friend for more than a decade, I can say it's formative. You can let it be formative in the best ways or the worst ways, and in her case, it was the best way.
Oh my God, thank you.
You're welcome. That doesn't mean it sucked along the way.
No, but I appreciate it. Thanks for the review.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Person review.
Yeah.
So Tessa, the romance genre has always been around, but I feel like TikTok has allowed readers and authors like you to talk about romance books with a greater sense of openness, and your sense of humor basically with a greater sense of openness, as you've alluded to, especially when it comes to aspects of romance or aspects of their writing that aren't typically associated with the romance genre. Do you feel like Book Talk has had other positive impacts on the romance community? ... I didn't know how to end that sentence.
Yeah, I do. I think where we were 10 years ago was people were still hiding the covers of their books on the way to the cash register in Barnes & Noble, and were embarrassed to tell their family that they read romance exclusively. And it seems like this sort of like new wave of romance readers is like very open and very proud of what they're reading. They're demanding exactly what they want. They're talking about exactly what they want with zero shame. And I think that we used to always say, like, oh, people are always asking us, when are we going to read a real book? And I'm like, I don't even think people are asking anybody that anymore.
Yeah.
Because we've like reclaimed that shame, and we're like, we love these books. These books make us better people. They make us more empathetic. They make us feel safe and happy. And like, I don't even remember the last time somebody shat on romance in front of me. I mean, that's been a long time.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't heard the question, do you think romance novels give women unrealistic expectations? I haven't heard that, but like question in years. Because I think like we've just come out swinging and been like, this is an amazing genre. Like, it has a really positive impact on people's lives. We are a really strong and connected community. And if you don't like it, kick rocks.
Yeah.
So I feel like the shame is gone. Like, our books are on tables in the front of Barnes and Noble.
Yep.
We're not going and hiding in the back and like having to dig for what we want and like not being able to find it. And like, no, we're like the number one selling genre of book, and we're not being ignored anymore. We're being respected. We're being brought into the big stores and the independent bookstores. Actually, independent bookstores were harder to crack, and they're really taking it seriously. And so I think just being vocal about it for the last few years, especially on Instagram and TikTok and places like that, has been massive to like removing the stigma that was on romance for so long.
Yeah. And I can't say how many, and I think it helps maybe that Book Talk has given it a new language, right? Now it's spicy. Now it's spicy talk. And bookstores aren't afraid to have a table that has a sign that says spicy talk, because I've seen that many of times now. And it's part of the loss of stigma is this loss of label as well, or traditional labels.
And it reflects like just the movement that I think there's plenty of articles out there about of, women choosing not to get married as much, or in past years, or choosing not to have kids, or choosing, their career, or just the choice that women are, that have. And I think that, it reflects in what we're just kind of done. It's like, I'm going to enjoy what I want to enjoy. I want to have it. And just the impact that I think it has, where, women's sexuality is something that's always been mysticized and, something that's scary and bad. And, I did my dissertation and for my master's on the gender politics of vampirism. And I make a case of like romance being linked with the vampire genre and how it was originally displayed. It was a fun dissertation, but, it was always like, women's desire is bad. And now you have women that are like, yeah, I could do a white choose. I can go there. I'm not sure if you've seen on TikTok, but there's a woman who's a lemon and her identity is not known, but she'll just like alter her voice and she's a lemon, and she does like that lemon face and she tells stories about her life, but no one knows her identity. And she was so excited about dating two guys, and they're friends and they both know about her. And then they invited her for a date at a thing. And she was just like, guys, I'm going to the Eiffel Tower. I'm going to Paris. And the comments were like, I am so happy for you. You know how it goes. And that's where we're at, where women are just like, hey, I want sex and I want it to be good.
Yeah. And there's that, but there's also like, I feel like there is a lot of people who don't want to go out and have sex.
Yeah. Yes.
And like, there's people who are just like, yeah, like I'd rather just read about it, and that gives me the feeling that I want. There's no disappointment attached to it, and I feel like going back to that question of, do you think romance novels give women unrealistic expectations? I'm like, if someone asked me that now, I would say we haven't had expectations for a really long time.
Yeah.
We're on. So we get like what we need from books now, a lot of us, and we don't necessarily feel like we need to go out and find it in real life. So joke's on you guys.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. It's
this, hence the death of the male species now. Actually, I really hope that, women feeling empowered to consume romance and to not be shamed about it. I hope there's a positive correlation to talking about sex, not just being like willing to read about sex, but if I choose to have sex, I want to talk about it and talk about those expectations so that we're on the same page, because anyway.
Yeah.
No, that's
off my soapbox.
A lot of the couples that come to my book signings, like the way it's open communication between them, like their partner reading one of their romance novels, opened this line of communication of like, yeah, I actually do think I would like to try that.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
Yeah.
Or like, I do kind of wish you would say something like that when we're, like, and like, it's just like a conversation starter. It's like, I wish more partners would take advantage of it because it's valuable.
True.
Yeah.
You're saving marriages. Genuinely.
That's what you're doing.
You probably are.
I've had people say that I've helped their marriages, but I also had one girl email me a card, send me a card, or give me a card at a book signing, one or the other, that said, thanks to you, I got a divorce. And like, don't worry, it's a good thing. And I was like, she's like, I think she said it was because of Brendan and Fox. And I was like,
oh, yeah. I mean, I get it.
I do love Fox.
I mean, it did make me change my dating location to the Pacific Northwest just to see what's going on. I'm like, what's happening? What are you doing there, guys? It's currently set to Bristol, UK. I like to hop around the world. Huh?
You're looking at people in Bristol, UK?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm an
and you're in LA?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if it makes sense, I am going to Bristol for a month in October, but I do like to hop around the world with my app just to see what's happening in their area.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
I mean, LA's I'm done with it. I mean, it's
I know you guys live there, but
no, I hate it. We can say we hate it. And it's like, I don't hate it, but I hate the dating scene here. I hate the dating scene.
Dating is terrible.
Yeah.
I was going to say, after being in New York for a week, I'm very happy to be back in LA. So
yeah. Oh, you're an LA girl then.
I think so.
I'm a London girl.
I love London. I love Dublin. I'm like, but I find I'm definitely in New York over LA. There's some merits to it. There are some merits to LA, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just like a grungy, dirty, ratty city girl.
That's not what I was saying.
No, I mean, I live in Studio City, so like,
stay indoors most of the time.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I actively say on my profile, does not hike. So it's like, I'm not.
Don't even stay out of the forest, right?
Stay out of the forest. My favorite murder, MFM. I recognize it. I saw it.
Well, earlier you said somebody need not apply. And I was wondering if you were talking about that famous murder case of the original female serial killer.
Oh yeah. She was great. I think it just kind of goes into your daily language.
Your brain. Yeah. So she used to lure men out to her farm.
Yep.
Take their money and kill them and bury them on her farm. And she used to put an ad in the paper that would like advertise for a gentleman farmer to be her husband and inherit this like lucrative farm. And she would title it "Triflers Need Not Apply."
Yep. That's
Triflers Need Not Apply.
That's great.
I always think about it. It's the best.
Yeah. Yeah. Karen and Georgia live in LA, and I keep waiting to run into them.
Oh, someday.
No, they know what's up. You don't leave your house. That's the better move.
That is.
So are there any upcoming projects that you'd want our listeners, but more importantly, you want us to know about? Because
so many upcoming projects. It's like, oh my God. The thing about traditional publishing is that you write so far in advance because it takes a long time for them to send advance copies to all the places they want to send them to, and then print them, and then make sure they get the right placement in the stores. And sometimes you're waiting for like a budget, like an advertising budget to like, it's a lot. And so the fact that I write very fast means that there's like 4 books written right now that haven't come out yet.
What?
Oh, wow.
Oh my
So
God.
it backs up. So I have Wreck the Halls, which is a Christmas book that's coming in October.
Yes.
I've been calling it a Christmas book with edging, because the hero he likes to be sexually denied pleasure.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So
She's very excited about this, I can tell.
I'm turning red.
yeah, it's hot. It's a hot one, and it's a lot of fun. And then I have December 1st, I have a novella coming out. It's going to be an Amazon Prime exclusive.
Oh, nice.
That's like a green card marriage between a Canadian hockey player and like a bartender in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
That's going to be your first hockey romance, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then February, I have a book called Fangirl Down coming. And that actually started with a TikTok I made that a lot of people responded positively to as well, where this idea I had is probably like going on a year and a half ago, where I said, I would like to write this book about like a professional golfer. Stay with me. Who is like on his last, is like his career is in shambles. He's not doing well. He's very grumpy. He's like the bad boy of golf.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's tattoos and like, scruffy and nasty to everybody. But he has this one fangirl who always shows up, like, and she's like, oh, hey, Wells, it's me again. I'm here. And he's like hungover and irritated, and he wants nothing to do with this girl. But then she disappears.
Oh, is this a crime?
And he's like, where's my fan? Where'd she go? Right? So that was the idea that I came up with, and I ran with it. So yeah, that's called Fangirl Down.
Oh, cool. So I have to just wait till February. That's awesome. That's
yeah.
That's great. I'm so happy. Damn it.
Yeah. And then of course the golfer has a best friend who plays hockey, because that's,
of course.
I love that.
Every golfer has a best friend hockey player. So yeah. Then that's lands where I'm writing right now. That's coming out next summer. So
oh my God. You really have so much lined up. That's amazing.
Can I tell you guys something that's a secret?
I can delete it. You can tell me whatever and I'll delete it.
Let's just see what happens. So I was only supposed to be 2 sports books, golf and hockey,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That was going to be the sports duology, and I was going to move on to firefighters. Well, I started writing this hockey book yesterday, and this other hockey player pops up as a side character, and his name is Sig Gauthier.
Oh, okay.
And I was like,
name.
Whoa, what's this? What's this guy? And then he has a stepsister.
Oh, yes.
And things just started happening, and I was like there was like he's like very protective over his stepsister, and I was like, what do I do?
Oh, you know what you do. You know.
My editor at Avon. I know. So I emailed my editor at Avon, and I was like, would Avon ever publish a stepsister book, brother book? Like, would they do that? And she's like, we came up with like a few caveats, but I've got the green light. So.
I'm
that sports trilogy.
fuck yes. I am so excited. Bring me all the step siblings. That's
oh my God. I'm like, I've never done that. And so very excited.
It's time.
Very
It's
excited.
just natural progression. It's time.
like clumsy and forgetful, and he like has to like take care of her, otherwise she's like, wow, I don't know what part of my brain this came from, but for me, so
I'm very excited.
I'm so excited. I will, we'll send this to you and you let us know what we can do. If not, I feel special, and the rest of the listeners can get it, but it's
not hiding anything. Let it all hang out there. I don't
Thank you so much for jumping on and talking to us. You're amazing and lovely and hilarious and everything I hoped you'd be. So thank you.
You guys are. Thank you so much. Amy and Jack, you guys were amazing. Great questions. And yeah, I feel like we've known each other forever. So this is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
and next time you have a reason to come to Carlsbad, we can meet you down there.
Yes, please. Let's all get margaritas. Let's eat burritos and just, go on my Bumble and judge guys. Let's.
Oh, that sounds like the dream.
In various parts of the world.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Tessa.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this mini episode of Book Talk for Book Talk. We encourage you to rate and subscribe to our show on your preferred podcast listening platform.
We would love to hear your thoughts based on today's conversation. You can submit your comments to our form at booktalkforbooktalk.com or via our Camflare voicemail system. Please visit booktalkforbooktalk.com for more information.
You can also follow us on TikTok or Instagram at the handle Book Talk for Book Talk. Bye! Fall has officially started here in Los Angeles, and that means we finally get to do fall activities.
I have been counting down the days for when I can go to pumpkin patches, maybe even hit up an apple orchard, and I get to do all of it looking super cute in my Quince boyfriend sweater.
This weather is perfect for my dark academia vibes, and I'm so excited to bust out my washable silk blouse because I'm going to be taking pictures.
Quince is known for their Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50. And that's not all. Quince has so many other amazing things on their website.
All of those items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands.
That includes leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim. Like, my entire fall wardrobe is genuinely turning into Quince wardrobe.
By partnering directly with top factories and cutting out the cost of the middleman, we get savings as the customer.
One of my favorite parts about Quince is the fact that they only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. And they still manage to get premium fabrics and finishes for that, luxury feeling for every item that they have.
Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. That's quince.com/booktalk.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.